What size do I make my planner? TLDR, it doesn't really matter what size. Aspect ratio is more important, and it depends on whether you're going to be zooming in or printing. What do I set my screen size to? 4:3 seems like an obvious one, but you've also got 16:9 and 3:4, which is 4:3 in portrait. You could set it as a square. And a lot of people ask about this here. Which size do I set it to? And obviously it's an important question, because you don't want to make a planner that's something like this, because that would be ridiculous. So you do need to think about what size you set your planner. My first thoughts were, well, what size is my iPad? And I would go to my iPad and work from that. So if I look at my iPad, I'm going to work with the 11-inch. So I would do 2388 by 1668. And that's the size that I would do. And we can see it's exactly the same as a 4:3 ratio. And if you're happy with this, then that's great. You can stop watching this video. But this wasn't good enough for me, because I never work in full screen. You can't write in full screen. Not on GoodNotes anyway. Never use this in presentation mode. I use split screen mode a lot, and I use the zoomed in feature quite a lot. And it was this last point, the zooming in point, that made me really start having to think about something else. And that something else was aspect ratios. Now most iPads use a 3:4 or 4:3 aspect ratio. So all the 12.9 iPads, all of the Gen 7, 8 and 9 iPads, the iPad Air 3rd Gen as well as the 2nd Gen iPad Pro all use a 4:3, 3:4 aspect ratio. As well as all of these and all of these and all of these. Although I'm not sure many people are planning on a 1st Gen iPad. Now an aspect ratio 4:3 is 4 across and 3 up. And if you wanted to go for portrait version, it would be 3 across and 4 up. A lot of mobile phones and other companies use an aspect ratio of 16:9 or 9:16 if you want that portrait. A lot of the later iPhones have used a 9 to 19.5 aspect ratio, which means it's a bit longer than it is taller. So this is all simple enough. Let's just put into 4:3 or 3:4 and make a digital plan from that. But wait, this is the big one. How much zoom do you want? But how much do you want to zoom in? Do you want to zoom in a little bit? Or do you want to zoom in a lot? So not all 4:3 aspect ratios are the same. Let's have a look. If I did 8,000 by, let's do 6,000. That's still a 4:3 aspect ratio. And that doesn't look much different to that. So what exactly is the difference? Well, let's see if we can make it. We'll do this one at, let's do 8,000 by 6,000. And we'll export that. And we'll do one that is 800 by 600. Literally 10 by 10 smaller. Literally 100 times smaller. I'll move this up as well so it's clearly visible. And if we look at the size difference between these two, there's really not much in it at all. In fact, there's nothing at all. Right, so we've got these two up and side by side. Now these two files have the same aspect ratio, but their resolution is very different. If I zoom in all the way down to the last 0 and draw around square, I'm going to try and recreate that with this. And I can see already that the differences is huge. If I zoom out on both of them, I can see there's a tiny little square here. But this one is pretty big. So these two have the exact same aspect ratio of 4:3. But the screen resolution is very, very different. So to go back to the question of what should I use when trying to set up my planner, well, that's entirely up to you. My original Zoom planner was set up to be this size, which works out to be about 0.75, which is a 3:4 ratio. Now all my planners and my notebooks that are made to standard 55 are on an A4. Now A4 is not a 3:4 ratio or a 4:3 ratio. A4 is something completely different. A4 standard is 21 centimeters by 29.7 centimeters, or the other way around if you want it landscape. And we can export that. And again, look at the size. And if we zoom all the way in, we can see we don't get that much zoom. But that's fine, because the goal of this isn't to have it zoomed in as possible, it's to be able to create something that when we're writing on it in full zoom, we can zoom out and still be able to see it, even though just slightly. If I was to print this off, I'll get that. Which, if I have a look at this, I should be able to see it is still readable. And that was on a screen resolution of that. So, does size matter? Not really. It depends if you're going to use full screen or not. And most of us don't, because of the menus at the top and the bottom and at the sides. We also tend to use split screens. None of us really do full presentation mode. And lots of us tend to like to zoom in. And that's another video done. I feel like I'm getting a lot better at these videos, and I'm really enjoying it. If you like this video, I'd really appreciate it if you would, well, like the video. And consider subscribing. Hey, while you're there, why don't you post a comment? Something like, yeah, great video. Or if you thought the video sucked, then write a sucky video.